Hello friends, welcome back to our channel. Your home for deep ideas and fearless questions. Today, we open the first chapter in a fascinating journey. A journey into the philosophy of marriage, an institution older than cities, more enduring than kingdoms, and more mysterious than we often realize. If you're ready to challenge everything you thought you knew about love, commitment, and society, then you're in the right place. Welcome and let's dive deep. Imagine a tradition so powerful that nearly every civilization on earth, from the Aztecs to the Greeks, from the Vikings to the Chinese dynasties, created their own version of it. A tradition so mysterious that even today, in the 21st century, we still cannot agree on what marriage truly is. Is marriage a sacred, divine promise? A practical legal contract? A social tool invented to control inheritance, property, and desire? Or simply a beautiful yet dangerous story we tell ourselves to make sense of our need for love, belonging, and stability? Today, we are not here to give you simple answers. We are here to ask better questions. From ancient Mesopotamia to modern Manhattan, from royal arranged marriages to polyamorous commitments in the digital age, humans have continually reimagined this thing we call marriage. And yet, strangely, marriage remains one of the least questioned institutions in human history. Why do we marry? We marry for love. We marry for citizenship. We marry for security, for family, for financial stability, for power, for religion, for belonging, even sometimes simply to survive. Marriage touches every aspect of our lives: identity, culture, religion, politics, law, economics. It's not just a personal lifestyle choice. It is a philosophical battlefield over what it means to live a meaningful, free, connected human life. Which brings us to the deeper, almost dangerous question: what is marriage really for? And perhaps even more urgently, does marriage still make sense today? At first glance, marriage seems simple enough to define. Marriage is a legally recognized union between individuals, right? Except it's not that simple. Across history and across cultures, marriage has been many things. A bond between one man and one woman. A bond between one man and multiple wives. A spiritual connection recognized by the gods. A political alliance between powerful families. A business transaction involving land, cattle, wealth, and lineage. A social expectation enforced through religion, tradition, and sometimes violence. Philosopher Elizabeth Brake coined a powerful term, amathenomativity, the widespread belief that finding a romantic, monogamous life partner is necessary for a happy and fulfilling life. But is that assumption even true for everyone? When you really look closely, marriage stops looking like one clear thing. It starts looking like a myth, a flexible, evolving story that we keep rewriting to fit our current dreams, fears, and values. Let's take a quick journey through the history of marriage to see how dramatically its meaning has shifted. 10,000 years ago, in early tribal societies, marriage wasn't about love or romance. It was about survival. Marriages were ways to regulate sexual relationships, form alliances between tribes, ensure cooperation, and raise children who could survive in harsh environments. In ancient Rome, marriage was primarily a business deal. The wealthy married to consolidate land, wealth, and political influence. Women were often treated as legal property transferred from father to husband. And love? Love was for poetry, for private affairs, not for marriage. In medieval Europe, marriage began to take on a sacred dimension. The Christian Church sanctified marriage as a holy sacrament, blessed by God, indissoluble by man. Marriage was seen as a spiritual obligation, designed to curb sinful desires and ensure religious devotion. During the Enlightenment, philosophers like John Locke and Jean-Jacques Rousseau began to champion individual rights and personal freedom. Marriage slowly started to shift from an arrangement between families to a decision between individuals rooted, at least theoretically, in personal choice and consent. By the time of the Romantic era, something revolutionary happened. Society began to believe that romantic love, passionate, overwhelming, heart-racing love should be the foundation of marriage. Today, we live in a world where marriage is both fiercely defended and heavily questioned. For some, marriage remains sacred. For others, it is optional, outdated, even oppressive. We live at the crossroads between ancient tradition and radical freedom. But what have the great philosophers actually said about marriage? Let's take a quick tour through some of their most provocative ideas. Plato, in the Symposium, imagined love as a kind of ladder. We begin by loving one particular body, then ascend to loving souls, and ultimately, the divine truth itself. For Plato, marriage wasn't the final destination, it was merely one step on the path to higher wisdom. Aristotle took a different view. He described marriage as a type of deep friendship, built not merely on pleasure, but on shared virtue and mutual excellence. For Aristotle, the goal of a good marriage was not just happiness but the cultivation of moral character. Immanuel Kant had a much harsher, more contractual view. He defined marriage as a union based on the lifelong mutual possession of sexual attributes. Not exactly romantic, right? But for Kant, the point wasn't about romance, it was about protecting human dignity by preventing people from using each other purely for pleasure. Simone de Beauvoir, in The Second Sex, exposed the darker side of marriage. She argued that marriage historically served as a tool of women's oppression, forcing women to trade autonomy and ambition for economic security. For de Beauvoir, marriage wasn't about love, it was about power. In more recent times, thinkers like Judith Butler and Michel Foucault have challenged even the basic assumptions of gender, sexuality, and partnership. They ask, is marriage, as we know it, simply a product of historical forces that no longer serve our deepest needs? When we step back and look at this long, complicated history, a pattern emerges. Love, virtue, contract, power. Marriage has always been about much more than love. It has been about creating alliances, ensuring survival, preserving power, enforcing social norms, and sometimes, yes, it has been about genuine human connection and transcendence. So we are left with some profound philosophical questions. Is marriage a natural human impulse, something rooted deep in our biology? Or is it a clever social invention, a tool designed to manage desire, property, and inheritance? Does marriage protect our freedom or does it limit it? Can a legal contract ever truly capture the wild, unpredictable, transcendent force of love? And perhaps the most radical question of all, do we even need marriage to live a full and meaningful life? These are the questions we will explore in the episodes to come. We will dive into psychology, anthropology, history, philosophy, and real-world experiences to uncover the hidden layers of this ancient and ever-evolving institution. Thank you for beginning this journey with me today. In our next episode, we will dive even deeper into one of the most controversial ideas. Is marriage something humans are biologically wired for or merely a cultural invention to control sex, property, and power? The answers may surprise you. They may even change the way you see relationships and yourself forever. And that's just the beginning. Marriage isn't just a ceremony. It's a mirror reflecting our deepest hopes, our wildest fears, and our endless search for meaning. The more we uncover, the stranger and more fascinating it gets. If today's journey made you think differently, imagine what's coming next. So if you're ready to dive deeper into love, freedom, power, and everything in between. Hit subscribe, smash that like button, and join this growing community of curious minds. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's keep the conversation alive. Until next time, stay curious, stay bold, and never stop questioning. I would love to hear your perspectives. Thank you.